Welcome back to Simtember, the month where we're looking at games in which 90% of them have simulator in the title. This week's game is no exception, as I played Estate Agent Simulator, a game where you can realize your dreams of owning a ton of property and renting them all out. Or is it? From the start, you get to choose from one of about 10 different male characters. If you are a female playing the game, or a guy that wants to play as a woman, well, tough doodles for you, as there are no gender choices. Allegedly, each character has different stats, but I didn't think it really mattered too much in a game like this. And if you're not in love with the name a certain character has, it's okay. You can change it once you select them. After this, you must choose a wife. That's right, you must be married. And again, no gender selection here. You'll find that there's no difference between the women other than looks, so just pick whichever one suits your fancy. As in, I guess choose whichever one you think is the hottest. Yeah, this is kinda weird, but it is what it is. You then start in your bedroom with a random suitcase full of cash near you. I believe the starting amount of cash ranges from about $35,000 to $40,000, depending on the character you chose at the start. You then are forced to go through a very lackluster tutorial, which really doesn't teach you anything. Good thing I'm here, so I can explain how this game works. With that starting cash, you'll start cruising around the town of Utopia, looking for these massive banners that read Realtor Wanted. Apparently, there's a city ordinance that requires anyone that wants to lease out their properties to hang these banners and stand out in front of their house until a realtor shows up. Very strange, but moving on. Interact with someone that has the banner up, and you'll be given a price to pay to own the property. If you like it, you can just pay the asking price, but haggling is key, as you can always get a cheaper deal. Even better, if the person outright declines your offer and the communication is cancelled, you can always talk to the person again, and they will have forgotten all the crappy offers you gave them and give you another chance. They'll never flat out refuse to talk to you if you insult their intelligence by offering a price way below what the house is worth. So once you close the deal, you get to enter the house. Yeah, all properties are bought without you even being able to take a look at the place. And good lord, what the hell happened in here? Literally every time you purchase a property, you'll have to clean it. God forbid the previous owner makes the house look show-worthy. I guess that's why we weren't allowed in. So put on your ugly yellow rubber gloves and start picking up the trash, washing the mysterious stains that totally look like feces on the walls, and spraying the roaches to clean the place before you turn it over to a potential renter. Be forewarned, I have had issues with some of the stains being invisible at first until you bring the sponge to them. I've been playing the game for weeks and not once was this patched, but as we'll see, this is only one of many, many bugs in the game, and I'm not even talking about the cockroaches. Anyway, clean up the place or hire someone to do it for you. At the start of the game, I highly recommend doing the cleaning yourself, as it's a great way to earn experience points. But however you want to do it, once the cleaning is done, you can opt to rent out the place or furnish it. At the start, you may not have enough money to truly deck the place out, but once you have a steady cash flow coming in, it doesn't hurt to put furniture in there yourself to increase the value. Or, if you're lazy like me, you can go to the architect's office and pay to have someone furnish the house for you. I didn't realize this was even an option until about 2 days prior to me writing this review, so, yeah. Also, keep in mind that every home has a strict limit to how many things you can put in it, depending on the style of the house. This ranges from about 20 to 45 objects. Because of this, it's actually kind of hard to furnish a home so that you like the look of it. With only 20 items being the typical limit, you're barely allowed to fully design an entire room, let alone the full home. Add in that there really isn't a huge selection of items that you can purchase at the furniture shop, and this really does feel like a waste when you do it yourself. Seriously, just spend the money and hire the architect. Once you are done with everything you need to do to get the place ready for market, you access your tablet and navigate to the web. Not the home info as you think you would, but the web. Home information only tells you what homes you currently own and how much time is remaining on the leases. The web interface allows you to attach up to 3 pictures to the advertisement before inputting a desired daily price. That's right, daily price. You might be getting over $10,000 per day on a rental. And that's the thing with this. When you purchase these homes, You are only purchasing rental rights for 30 days. You never actually get the chance to own any of these homes, with one small exception which I'll get to shortly. So when you are renovating these homes, remember, you only have it for 30 days before you have to return it back to the owner and pay another fee if you wish to keep renting it out. Anyway, once the home is on the market, you go back to your office and wait for people to arrive. If you get someone staring at the model of your home, you interact with them and they'll either accept the price you give them or attempt to barter themselves. At times, these people will give insultingly low prices, like asking for a daily price of $1,000 when you are asking for $6,000. Oftentimes, these people will not back down from these low-balled amounts, so rejecting them outright may not be a terrible idea. But once you get someone to agree on a price, congratulations, you'll now have some income coming in for the next few days. Your work isn't over, of course. Utopia doesn't know what modern conveniences are, so you'll be walking or driving to any properties you own to collect the rent by hand. To make things easier, you can hire civilians to collect the rents for you instead, though. In order to do this, let's talk about the very basic upgrade system. You earn experience by renting out homes, cleaning homes, and, for some reason, picking up and disposing of the trash left on your office's patio. With this obtained experience, you can invest in one of about a dozen different perks, although some of these are locked until you purchase its prerequisite. You can unlock the ability to take out loans, increase your luck, which I assumed increases the chances of being successful in your haggling attempts, and best of all, hiring people to pick up the rent for you. You still need to meet up with these people in order to actually collect the cash, but it still beats driving to each house and getting it yourself. Of course, from time to time, you might run into renters that don't exactly want to play by the rules and pay the rent. Sometimes you'll be given the chance to give them a day to get their finances together. Other times, the person will be belligerent with you and flat out refuse to pay. Supposedly, you can sue these people, but not once was I able to get the lawyer to actually work. Even when I choose the "I'll sue your ass" option and go to the lawyer, he says there's no one available to file a lawsuit against. I'm pretty sure it's just broken at this point, so don't waste your time by unlocking it in the skill tree. If it's a female that's neglecting to pay her rent, she might, well, offer other, quote, services. If this is something that piques your interest, among other things, she'll invite you inside and you, well, get it on. Although this is something I would never even contemplate doing, I did this once for the sake of the review just to see what would happen. And, well, this did. Lesson learned, even for reviews, don't bother going against your morals. That's the basic gameplay of Estate Agent Simulator, but we're not even close to being done, as there's quite a bit of other things you can do to pass time and make even more money. You can visit the local casino to play slots or one of two different table games, blackjack or roulette, here horribly translated. In general, though, the casino feels half-baked. Roulette functions perfectly fine with what seems to be all available bets. The slots aren't terrible, but the reels don't actually show what's hitting properly, which results in a minimal payout every time, although I have hit a jackpot once. Blackjack, on the other hand, is absolutely half-assed. Actually, more accurately, it's probably quarter-assed, if even that. You only have the basic options of hitting and standing. At no point can you do the other popular things in the game, such as doubling, splitting, or even taking insurance. Hell, I've already lost when my total was higher than the dealer's. Makes absolute sense. Then again, look at this dealer. She's clearly distraught about something. Maybe she just doesn't understand how to deal blackjack? Maybe she's distracted because her boyfriend's leaving her or something. I don't know. Either way, skip the blackjack. On certain days, there's a racing circuit that you can participate in. Bring your vehicle of choice to the starting circle and pay the $2,000 fee, and you get to take on opponents in 2 laps on the lone racing course. Win, and you get 15 grand. Second place nets you 10,000. Anything less, and you lose. It's not terribly difficult to win the race, as the AI isn't the greatest, but neither are the driving physics. No vehicle in this game knows how to turn properly, making the slightest of turns a test of don't hit that tree, don't hit that tree, don't hit that tree, don't! In addition to the standard race, there's also a guy named Walker that, after cringing at the reference, you can race mano a mano for his vehicle. He's a bit harder to take down due to no one else getting in his way, but it is doable. Next up is the Storage Wars. Again available only on specific days. You have to pay an entry fee of $100 in order to be able to bid on the 4 containers. Unlike bartering with the renters, here, all you can do is press a key to increase your bid. You have no control over what the bid becomes though. For example, maybe you don't want to pay over $3,500 for the container and the bid is currently at $3,200. You can't specify that you only want to bid $3,500. Instead, you press the key and the wager might jump to $4,100, way over your intended amount. I've never seen the containers go for over $5,000, so there is that. But like any kind of auction, what you actually get is a toss-up. You might have purchased a container that only has a few cheap chairs in it, but then you might get one with a lot of high-cost merchandise, like grand pianos and LCD televisions. This stuff can be used to furnish your purchased homes, so it is a nice alternative to using the architect or running to the furniture store, even if it is a gamble. There are also other ways to earn cash. There is a motel at the edge of the main strip that you can purchase for permanent ownership. Once this is done, you have to spend $20,000 per unit to build up to 5 units, one at a time. Although you do have to pay taxes on this every few days, I've found that the income is worth it, as once it's all built, it requires minimal effort on your part. There is also a campsite that has been recently added, but this was sadly underwhelming. You just approach the area, purchase the zone, and then spend money to place and upgrade the tents on each plot. You then receive the bare minimum of income from these tents. Unlike the motel, there is no app to manage it, and you are just told how much you made from it on the daily income screen. This is kinda dumb. Give me a bit more interactivity with this instead of, hey, buy the tents and then never go near here again. You never even see people walking around or entering the tents either, so it's really a disappointing addition. If money is burning a hole in your pocket, there's a farm you can purchase for a whopping $1 million. I'll be honest, I haven't really messed with this farm all that much, since by the time I earned this money, I started typing up this review. From what I can understand, you can purchase a variety of livestock, but from what I can see, it doesn't seem like you can purchase crops. Granted, I'm not expecting something as deep as, say, a farming simulator, but the functionality seems limited. As of right now, I also don't know how you make your money back, or if it's even worth it, so if you purchase the farm, buyer beware. Finally, you might have noticed some empty plots of land as you drive around Utopia. Once you unlock the ability in the skill tree, you can purchase this land and build your own place on it. Hold on, sit back down, this isn't House Flipper. You only choose one of 9 different templates, and then the house will be built within a few days. Then you get to rent it out eternally without needing to bother to pay for rental fees. Or will you? Although every other home is a limited time rental, here, the houses that you build are sold to people, not rented. This isn't even explained to you either. I thought there was a glitch as I was typing typical daily rental amounts in the advert and the meter wasn't moving. I sold the house anyway. Then realized that this was the complete opposite from the rest of the game. So a house that I spent nearly $150,000 to build, I practically gave away for $7,000. Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. I made my money back on the next home, which I sold for about $450,000. It would have been nice if the game would have told you that you would be selling the home, not renting it out. Hell, I would have preferred being able to be given the choice. But what this also means is that once you build on and sell on all plots, this feature is essentially gone for the remainder of your playthrough. So those are the ways to make money. Obviously, renting homes is going to be your primary source of income. But although there's a lot of things to do, I tended to find that the game started to get a bit stale after about 5 hours or so, which is a problem when you are playing a simulation game meant to be played for at least double that. A lot of it might be due to the presentation. There really are some issues on that front. For one, the game is your standard Unity job. I know there are a lot of good-looking Unity games out there, but this is not one of them. The world looks fine at first, with a decent town to explore, but as soon as you leave the city limits, the world becomes barren. Yes, it does allow for future expansions, but I would have preferred a much nicer looking world that got larger when updates were pushed out, not a bland scene that's waiting for updates that may never come. At least ramping my car off of the few hills was enjoyable for a while. Back to the world. There are some nice looking portraits of people when you are talking to them, but when you see them outside of the conversation, they look like PS2 people. Seriously, the quality of these NPCs is laughable. And then you watch them walk around, Oh man, this doesn't seem right. While I'm talking about things that are laughable, how about the hit collision? It's very hit or miss, no pun intended. Almost every tree you can drive through with no punishment, but God forbid you cut a corner short and drive into a stop sign, which will stop any vehicle regardless of what speed you were going. You can also flat out walk through any vehicle not owned by you. It seems like really lazy design to me. In addition to this, you'll run into other traffic, but there are multiple issues that you'll see with these bastards too. For one, they go far too slowly. I can understand going about 20 in the main parts of town, but on the main strip? Come on. To compile this problem, they enjoy smacking into you. If you park on the sidewalk, you better make sure that there's a few feet in between the road and your vehicle. Otherwise, the other drivers will either stop and back up traffic, or just smash into your car and sit there. Best of all, you get traffic fines for every time your vehicle strikes another, even if it wasn't your fault. Thankfully, these fines aren't that expensive, but still, it's the principle of it all. There are also thefts that you can encounter while playing. Sometimes you'll get an alert at the top of the screen that someone is breaking into one of your owned but unoccupied homes. If you can manage to approach the thief, they'll run off with no further issue. However, just like many other things in this game, there are issues that arise when running into a theft. For one, there's no minimap, and you're only given a house number with a very strict time limit to get to the home. The map you can view by pressing M doesn't show house numbers either. So if you don't know where house 46 is, you might be spending the entire minute driving around just looking for it. Plus, there are times when this alert pops up when you wake up on a new day and are reviewing the financial screen, further diminishing the amount of time you have to get there. If you can prevent the burglary, it is pretty funny to watch the black-clad guy run away and leap over the fence to freedom. If you can't, well, they just steal some furniture. Oh well. Speaking of furniture, sometimes placing objects can be a little wonky. For most items, you won't run into any complications, but as soon as you, say, try to put a TV or computer onto a desk, then you're going to start to get frustrated. For some unknown reason, objects cannot be placed directly in the center of objects such as tables. Instead, these objects must be placed on the edge as if they were practically falling off. Sometimes, even this requires near pixel perfect alignment. It was just another reason why I stopped carrying the furniture to places myself. By the way, as I was writing this review, they apparently patched this. Haven't tried it, but just so you're aware, it might have been fixed. Anyway, continuing on. As in typical low-budget simulation-style games, you need to eat. There's no reason for this, but even better, you eat nothing but junk food, all served from a vending machine. Donuts, fries, sodas, chips. I mean, I approve and all, but why is this something you need to do in the game? I don't know what happens if you stop eating, but I didn't care to find out. You can also, have relations with your wife if she's in the mood. But just like many other things in Estate Agent Simulator, it's a completely throwaway feature, if you want to call it that. Basically, the next morning you'll have a baby crawling around your room. That does nothing but pass gas. And I really kind of wish I was joking. Yeah, it's good for a few chuckles because I can be very immature at times, but it gets kind of old when you hear and see that stink cloud every 10 seconds. But after a few days, the kid immediately turns into a 10-year-old or so, and then a few days later, a teenager who says he's moving out. Okay? Good luck, son, I think. It's not like he gets successful and visits you or sends you money or anything like that. He just moves away and you don't ever hear from him again. I should mention that supposedly you can increase your wife's mood by watching movies with her. There are 5 DVDs at the TV, and when you select one, you are given a slideshow of images that I guess are supposed to resemble a loose plot. Not gonna lie, I laughed at the one called I'm Waiting for the Third, which features a man that's clearly supposed to be Gordon Freeman. There's also one that's clearly Batman. However, you don't actually need to watch these movies with your spouse. Her mood will increase on its own even if you never interact with her once. Maybe she likes that I'm always working. At least you can borrow money from her. She is clearly working from home at times, so if you find yourself in dire straits, you can bum cash from her. I never ran into a situation where I was that broke, but it's nice to know the option is available. And that's Estate Agent Simulator. What starts as a game with a lot of promise turns into just a daily slog of collect rent, buy properties, clean them, sell them, repeat. I can see the potential for the game as a whole, and the developer clearly has more plans as there's supposed to be a hunting feature coming up at some point. Personally, I would have liked to be able to actually own some houses to loan out instead of flat out selling them, along with better vehicle physics and more options to furnish houses with, including increasing the maximum amounts of items that you can place in them. There have been frequent updates in the past, with one happening just days before this review was posted, so hopefully the game is updated to fix bugs and keep bringing more features. I also hope future updates aren't a complete waste of time like the campsite was. It's hard to recommend the game, but for the amount of features that are included, even if the quality of them are questionable, I can't completely hate on the game either. Final score, 4 out of 7. This is Reaper, happy fragging.